Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's Power Half Hour. We are the NCTC Career Services team. And today we have a great topic to share with you guys. So we're excited that you're here to join us. All right, so today we are going to go over a few things. We're going to do a basic overview of career exploration and what that is and what that means. And then we also have a couple of resources that we want to share with you guys that go along with career exploration. One of those is career cruising, and then the other one is what can I do with this major? And you'll see throughout this presentation, we have abbreviated what can I do with this major. So if you see that weird little acronym, that's what that means. And then after we're done with those, we'll wrap up and we'll tell you how to get in contact with us so you can get connected with your career coach. All right, so just to start, my name is Shannon Solomon. I'm one of the career advisors here at NCTC. Okay, and so we're going to get started with career exploration. So what is career exploration and why is it important? So I want you guys to think about, your life up until this point. How many times have you been asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to major in? And what has been your response to this question so far? Have you known exactly what you want to do? Has it been, I don't know? Has it been, I'm undecided, I'm still figuring it out? If that's you, then that's, perfectly fine. You are not alone in that. Most students have no idea what they want to major in right away. So this decision on setting your career path can be a difficult process. It's not typically something that people decide overnight. It takes a lot of time and consideration and effort to explore, who you are, what your interests are, and also to learn what's out there. And so with career exploration, there's multiple steps in this process, and it's a great tool that can help you learn more about who you are, what your personality is, and how that fits into a career, the different careers that are out there, and the different careers that will align with your interests, your values, your skills and abilities, and things like that. So for career exploration, there's 4 main steps in this process. The first one is going to be self-assessment. I've also seen this titled self-reflection. There's career and job market research. There's planning, and then there's action. So in the first step, so self-assessment or self-reflection, this is going to be the part of the process where you really dive in and learn more about who you are. This includes your interests, your personality type, the values that you hold, the skills and abilities that you have. And here at the Career Center, we have several great resources for self-assessment, one of which is career cruising, which we're going to go over today. There's also a website called ONET, and they are also partnered with My Next Move, and they have a great online assessment that you can take to explore more about yourself. There's a website called 16 Personalities. If you're familiar with the Myers-Briggs assessment, this is a version of that. It's a free online assessment, and so it's 16personalities.com. And then we also use another resource called Career Clusters, which we'll talk a little bit more about later on in this presentation. All right, so after you do some self-reflecting and you learn about yourself, the next step in the process is to learn what's out there, what careers are available to you. Jobs are often changing. Jobs that we had 10 years ago some of them may not even exist today. And then there's jobs that are going to be here 10 years from now that we don't even know about yet today. And so as these jobs and careers and occupations are evolving over time, this research part is going to be important. So you can make sure that you're getting into a field that's going to be here in the long run. So labor market research is what you do to search out different careers, and it gives you information about, is that career growing? Is it declining? Is it something that's still going to be around in 10 years? It gives you some insight on what that job entails, what education and training is needed to get into that field, how much that field typically pays, and also what skills are needed to be successful in that field. And in the Career Center, we have several different career research resources. One of my favorite ones is the Department of Labor Occupational Outlook Handbook. This is a great guide and resource to learn all the nitty-gritty about the different careers that are out there, learning what those fields are like, what it takes to get into that field, what it pays, all of those things that information has, that resource has that information. Career Cruising also provides that information, so we'll go over that in just a little bit. ONUT has the same information as well. I think ONUT actually pulls from the Department of Labor information, but the way that their information on their website is laid out is a little bit more visually appealing. So if you're a visual learner like me, that's a great website that I like to use, just so you can kind of see that information in a visual way. Another thing that we like to do to gather career research is to conduct job shadowing or observing. This is where you go to a place where you're interested in working, and you observe what a day in the life of that job looks like. So what are they doing? What tasks are they doing? How they interact with other people in their office. Just kind of getting that visual sight of what that job actually looks like in person. And we also do informational interviews. And this is where you would reach out to somebody that's in your field of interest, and you can ask them questions about what their day-to-day is like. What do they like about their job? What do they not like about their job? What education and training do they have that allowed them to get into that job? And you can ask them about their challenges, their day-to-day challenges, you know, and all sorts of questions you can ask them just to kind of get more insight into what that job looks like. All right, and then I kind of grouped the next two steps together. We're not going to focus on these as much today, but they're just as important, the planning and then the action. So planning involves making a decision, setting goals, and making sure that your education aligns with your career path. So making sure that you're getting into a major that will ultimately help you get into a job in that field. And then action is just making sure that you're following your steps to achieve those goals. All right, so we are going to jump into career cruising. This is a great platform to do those first two steps in the process, so the self-assessment, and then also do the career research. And career cruising offers several different features. So they have an interest assessment, they have a skills assessment, they have a learning styles inventory, and then they also have the career research and labor market information. Okay, and I'm going to share my screen and pull up career cruising for you guys so I can show you how to access it and show you how to use it. So what you're first going to do is open your browser of choice. I like to use Firefox, but you can also use Chrome or whatever else you usually use. And you're going to go to www.careercruising.com. And it's going to take you to a website that looks just like this. And this is a service that NCTC pays for its students. So there's going to actually be two different logins. The first one is going to be the NCTC login that gives you access to the platform. And then the second login is going to be one that you create for yourself. So on this first screen, you're going to enter the NCTC login. So the username is going to be NCTC. And the password is going to be GoCenter. GOCENTER. And we're going to go through this presentation pretty quickly. So if you need help accessing this platform, or if you need some guidance to get through it, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll provide our contact information at the end of this presentation. So once you enter the username and password, you're going to click sign in. And it's going to take you to the career cruising dashboard, which looks like this. And so if this is new to you, you're going to click on this login to my plan right here. And then it's also going to give you this second link where it says create my plan. And that'll allow you to create your own profile. You can set up a username and a password and answer some questions. Since I'm already in the system, I'm just going to go ahead and log in real quick. And that way I can share my screen with you in here. Okay, so after you create your profile, this is going to be what the website looks like. And what I would encourage you to do, so we talked about there's different resources in here, but I would encourage you to start with the assessments. So you can either click this button up here that says assessments, or you can go over here to the left-hand column and click on explore my interests. And those will both take you to the same screen. Now on this screen, you'll see that there's 3 different assessments on here. And since I've already been in this platform, you can see I've already taken a couple of these. So just to show you, yours will look a little bit differently if you're new to this, but just to kind of give you a visual. So if this is your first time, you wanted to start with this Matchmaker and My Skills section, and you'll start by clicking Start Matchmaker. And this is just the introduction page. So it's going to ask you lots of questions. Have you rank your interests? And so it's going to give you a scale like this: dislike very much, dislike, does not matter, like, and like very much. And you'll choose from those how you rank the different questions that they're asking you. And my personal piece of advice would be to think about the questions from a career standpoint. And what I mean by that is, for example, I think one of the first questions is, do you like working with children? Well, for me personally, like, I love kids, I love being around kids. That doesn't mean I necessarily want to work with like the little kids, right? So you can kind of rank it based on your career perspective. So yes, you may love kids, but is that something that you want to do for your career? And so think about it that way, and that could help make your answers just a little bit more accurate. And to get started in your assessment, it's going to have you create a name for your session. This is because it lets you take the test twice if you want to. And so that way it has a title so you can differentiate which test is which. Once you're done, I'm going to click back just a little bit so I can show you mine. So once you're done with your first set of questions, it's going to take you to a page that looks just like this. And it's going to give you a list of careers right here. Before you really dive into those careers, I would encourage you to come over here on the left-hand side. There's an area that says improve my results. And it's going to give you the option to answer more questions. And I would highly encourage you to answer all 116 questions. That would help make your results more accurate for you. You'll notice on mine, I've already taken all 116. And so mine doesn't give me the option to take any more, but if this is your first time, it'll give you that option. Another thing that I want to show you guys too, I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. After you're done answering all the questions, there's a section on here called My Skills. And this prompts you to take another assessment. And this will have you rank different skills based on your ability in those skills. So you'll notice on mine, I have not done that part yet. But if you were to do that part, what it does is starts assigning all of your career matches, and it gives them a letter grade, so A, B, C, D. And it tells you how your skills match up to that career. And I like to tell students, take that piece with a grain of salt. If there's a job that you really are interested in, but you're ranked with your skills kind of low, don't let that be a deal breaker. I mean, you're going to school to gain those skills. And so those are things that you can achieve. So don't let, where you are now be a deal breaker for you. just kind of, keep in mind, where you're headed and what you're going to school for. So another thing that I want to show you too, on this left-hand side, if you scroll up just a little bit more, there's this level of education section, and it allows you to check or uncheck different levels of education. And so usually, since I'm typically working with college students, I usually like to have them uncheck the high school level of education, because they're already high school graduates and they're working on either a certification or a degree. And so unchecking the high school will just improve their results just a little bit more and help guide them more in the right direction for their degree or program. If you want to see all your results, you can obviously check high school and keep all those in there. Or if you are planning on going on to get a bachelor's or master's degree, you can uncheck high school and uncheck 2-year college and just leave 4-year university and see what comes up. So you can play around with those a little bit. One other cool feature that Career Cruising has is that it gives you career cluster recommendations. So in the state of Texas, we recognize 16 different career clusters. And other states will have either more career clusters or less career clusters. It just really depends by state. But since our school's in Texas, we recognize the 16 different career clusters. And basically what these are umbrellas of different careers, right? So all the different occupations that are out there fall under one of these 16 umbrellas. I mean, that's a great tool for people that are exploring different career options, because on this example, so on mine, it gave me health science and business management and administration. So I fall under those 2 categories, or those are my majority. That doesn't mean I don't fit into the other career clusters. It just means that these 2 are the most reoccurring. And what that does for me is, if I'm unsure about what I want to do, but maybe I'm interested in health science, well, I can click on health science and explore more careers and occupations in that career cluster. So I don't want anybody to feel like this top 40 list of career matches is the end all be all. You can explore outside of that. This is really just a jumping off point to get you thinking about some ideas that might be a good fit for you. And then the career clusters, you can explore those a little bit more and just kind of expand your knowledge of the different careers and the different areas in those fields. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the assessments. You'll notice there was that learning styles inventory on there as well, so you can learn a little bit more about how you learn and how you process information. And we also talked about the other one, which was down here, that My Skills assessment. So now that we've talked about the self-assessment piece of this, I want to move on and show you how to use Career Cruising for career research. So I'm going to start by showing you how to use it from this list that it gives you, this top 40 list that it gives you. And I'm just going to click on one of these as an example. So I'm going to click on my number 8, which is dental assistant. Okay, so I clicked on that, and the first page that comes up on is this suitable for you? And it has these questions, and you'll recognize these questions because these are the ones that came up in your interest assessment, and it also shows you how you answered them. So these represent different aspects of tasks or duties for this type of job. So things that you can be expected to do in this job. And then it shows you how you rank those. And so that's kind of interesting to see. So my number 8, obviously that's pretty high in my top 40 list. So the majority of these are going to be either like or like very much, or maybe does not matter one way or another, right? There's not going to be a whole lot of dislike or dislike very much because it's in my top 40 matches. So that's a great way to kind of see what they do on a daily basis and see if that's something that you would actually enjoy doing. So down this left-hand side, there's a lot of other links on here, and I'm going to go through these real quick and show you some more information. So this first one, at a glance, is going to give you an overview of that job and an overview of some of these other links. So I'm going to kind of skip this page a little bit because the information is going to be covered in these other links. So I'm going to move over to job description. So job description really gives you a good insight on what that job looks like. So there's a lot of jobs out there where we kind of have this idea of what they look like, but do we really know what they do? What does their day-to-day look like? And so this kind of gives you a glimpse inside what their actual tasks are and what their day looks like. One thing I also really like about this job description is they usually include an informational interview, like we talked about earlier. And that's going to be where they interview somebody that's actually in that field with that job title. So in this example, Carolyn, she is a dental assistant. And so they ask her questions. I'm going to click on this real quick. And they ask her questions about what does she like about her job? What does she not like about her job? What challenges does she have in this field? What is her background that allowed her to get into that field and made her qualified for that field? How much job security is there for people in this field from her perspective? What other jobs could you do with the skills that you have gained from this field? And so there's lots of different questions that can provide a lot of insight for you as you're exploring and learning more about this type of career. All right, and I'm going to move on down to working conditions. So working conditions is probably one of my favorite tabs, just because it really gets you thinking about what does that job look like, and it tells you more about the environment that it's in. So is it indoors or outdoors? Is it in an office, a warehouse, a hospital? What does that environment look like, physically? But then it also talks more about the schedules. So is this a job that typically works lots of nights and weekends? Is this a job that is mostly part-time? Does this job require a uniform or certain safety equipment? So it gives you a lot of insight on what that environment looks like and how you can kind of start picturing yourself and what that looks like for you if you were in that job. Another tab is earnings. And so since we are based in Texas, this will pull up for the Texas average. So it's going to show you the salaries by hour and annually. And it breaks it down by the experience level. So the entry level wage, the median wage, and the experienced wage. One other thing I really like about this page too is it shows you the outlook that's expected for this type of career. So is this one that's growing or is it declining? So for example, for this dental assistant one, in 2014, the employment was 25,000 and the projected for 2024 is 32,000, right? So the percentage rate is 27% increase. So it's growing. And so that's really good insight. That's not a career that's going away anytime soon. And as we progress throughout the next few years, this job is going to have more and more openings available. So that's really good to know as a student. You want to get into a job, hopefully, that when you graduate, there's going to be positions available for you to take. So that's some good information for you there too. They also do an interview with somebody in that field and talk about what not only the salary that they make, but also how they have progressed in the field. So where did they start out and how did they get promoted and where are they now? And so that's really good information too for you there. And the next tab is going to be education and training. So this will give you insight on what degree or certification or license is required to get into the field, but also if you're required to do continuing education or renew your certifications or something to maintain your status in that field. It'll also give you a little bit of insight if you want to move up or if you want to get promoted in that field. Do you need additional education or training? Do you need an additional degree? And so it'll provide you all of that information to kind of give you an idea of, what to major in if this is the path that you want to go down. And to kind of partner with this, there's another page called Sample Career Path. And this shows you, just as an example, this isn't the way necessarily everybody progresses in their field, but just an example of how someone could progress in this field. So for example, this one, they start off as an entry-level dentist assistant, and it shows their earnings, the requirements, the responsibilities. And then it progresses into intermediate dental assistant and then senior dental assistant. And it'll show you how the different requirements change as you progress, the different responsibilities that those different positions have, and the different salaries that come along with that increased job title. All right. And then there's a related careers tab, which is really helpful for those who are still heavy in exploring and seeing what's out there. So, you know, I looked at dental assistant and it sounded kind of interesting, but let me see what else is out there. This is a great page to kind of do some more research here. And so you can go through and click on all of these and see if there's anything that, you know, strikes your fancy, and see if there's something that you're interested in. And any one of these that you click on is going to give you these same pages that we just went through. So even if it's not one that showed up in your top 40 list, it'll still show you that's suitable for you. It'll still show you what you would like about the job and what you might potentially dislike about the job. And so that's really helpful information. Even if they're not on your top 40, you know, they can still be a consideration for you. And then there are some other resources in here. These are typically like the national associations, or if there's a state association, and just some different websites that you can look at to get some more information about what that career looks like. And then one last thing I wanted to show you guys is the career clusters. So up here at this top link, it's career clusters. And this will show you all 16 career clusters. So just to kind of stay in that same you know, category, so dental assistant. So maybe I'm interested in health science, the health science umbrella. I can click on health science, which is one of the 16 career clusters. And then I could click over here on this related careers tab. And I can scroll down and see a ton of jobs that are in that umbrella career cluster. So there's all sorts of different things in here. And again, if you click on any of these, like let's say I click on family physician, it gives you these same links down here on the left-hand side. So you can see if it's suitable for you, why or why not. And it'll give you all of that other information to help you narrow down and help you eventually make that career decision for yourself.
Thank you, Shannon, for that great insight on career cruising and career exploration. Now, if you guys had any questions, feel free to reach out to us. You can reach out to us by phone number, which is 940-498-6259, or text, which is 940-202-7184, and our email, which is CareerServices@NCTC.edu. And if you wanted to set up an appointment with one of our career coaches, you can actually do that through Calendly. And how you access Calendly is you go to the website, nctc.edu, which is our main page, and then you'll click on the Student Services tab. And then once you're there, you'll just click on the Counseling and Advising tab. And then you'll scroll down until you see the Career Services Center, and they'll be located down at the bottom, which is right here. And then once you're there, you'll just click on Book an Appointment, and then that'll bring you to the Calendly page, where you'll click on the career coaching sessions, and then you'll just choose an available time to meet with one of our career coaches. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!